Hello there, and welcome to the Career Success Doctor's video blog. I'm Jane Lewis, and I am the Career Success Doctor. And today I want to talk about freedoms that we take for granted. Now, I'm not a big reader of women's magazines, things like Glamour or Elle or Vogue or even Hello. The only time I ever look at them is when I'm in the hairdresser, because when I'm in the hairdresser and I'm waiting for the roots to develop, flicking through magazines like that, it's really easy. I don't have to think, and it's quite fun. So there I was in the hairdresser last week waiting for the roots to develop, and on the top of the pile of magazines that she'd given me to take a look at was a copy of Glamour magazine. Not one of the ones that I don't think I've even read Glamour magazine before, actually. Anyway, I flicked through it, and as I was going through it, I noticed there was a couple of interesting articles on interviews. One was about approaches to interview, and one was about what to wear for interview. So I thought, okay, this is probably worth taking a second look at. And then I came to an article about a Saudi woman called Al-Sharif, who is an activist for women's rights in Saudi Arabia. And Al-Sharif was imprisoned because she took the outrageous step of driving her car. And not only did she drive her car, she then went one step further. She videoed it and put the video up on YouTube, and it got something like 800,000 hits. Now, the way Al-Sharif describes it in the article, she'd been coming home from the doctor. It was late at night, 9 o'clock in the evening. It was dark, very difficult to get home on her own. She couldn't get anybody to drive her, and she had to walk. And Mecca's not a particularly friendly place for walking. It's a driving sort of a city. Apparently most of the Saudi cities are. Never been to Saudi Arabia myself, so I can't comment on that. So she started to walk. And as she walked, she started to get harassed by guys following her, because women don't walk on their own. Not only do they not drive, they don't walk on their own either. And this really annoyed, frustrated, pissed her off, actually. So the following day she was at work, and she heard that technically it's legal for a woman in Saudi Arabia to drive. The reason women don't drive is because it's socially unacceptable. So she jumped in a car, got a sister to video her, and off she went. Well, the consequences were significant. First of all, she was jailed. It's legal to do this, but she was jailed nonetheless. And then she was vilified, her family was vilified, and eventually she actually ended up leaving Saudi Arabia. Now, this woman stood up for women's rights and continues to be an activist for women's rights in Saudi Arabia. But I was really struck by the last paragraph, and I'd like to read it to you, because what she said is this: "We've reached the point where there's no going back. More and more Saudi women are going abroad, seeing how life can be, and coming back, and they will be the agents of change. Years ago in Britain, women fought really hard for you to live the way you do today, and that is what we're trying to do in Saudi Arabia. Never take your freedoms for granted. I can't change my reality right now, but I can affect what happens for women who come after me." That's one brave woman, Al-Sharif.